first, I got to ask you about the South China Sea, because we keep talking about, you're the first one that, brought it to our attention the years ago, the unrestricted warfare, economic war, information war, tech war, not kinetic war. Is this activity in the South China Sea of the Chinese starting to fire missiles? Are we inexorably being drawn in, you think, to a shooting war in the South China Sea?
Well, there's always the risk of that. What we're seeing is the contrasting interests of the United States for freedom of navigation, for support of allies, and the status quo versus Beijing's interest to take control of that space, right? In keeping with what they're also doing in pressuring India, threats to Taiwan, conceivably against Mongolia relatively soon. So we're seeing that contest of interests. And as part of that, although we've been relatively tardy in responding, right, we're beginning to see the right conventional force posture flowing to the South China Sea. We're seeing greater support from allies who had reason to doubt whether the United States was going to be for them, be there for them in the face of China's rise and expansion. So territory is zero sum, right? Either they're going to own it or we're going to own it. And so that poses the central problem that as our interests clash, there's going to be a military component of that, as there already is, between U.S. Navy and People's Liberation Army Navy and their maritime forces, their equivalent of their Coast Guard. So there's always the risk there of escalation. That as we had with the Soviet Union, we had an incident at sea treaty because we recognized that, ships bumping up against one another from opposing nations is not a good idea. So what we tried to do with the Soviets was to separate that, right? We don't have anything like that with China, right? So it's quite likely that there's going to be incidences between surface vessels in the South China Sea.